The elevator doors slid open on the 47th floor. And in that split second, the world tilted. Israel's coffee cup slipped from his trembling hand, splashing hot liquid across the polished shoes of the man who stepped in. The CEO himself, Elias Thorne, whose dark eyes locked onto Israel's with a fury that could shatter glass. But before Israel could stammer an apology, the car lurched violently. Emergency brakes screeching as a power surge gripped the building, slamming their bodies together in the sudden dark, lips crashing in a kiss that was all accident and electric mistake, tasting of bitter roast and forbidden salt. When the lights flickered back on, Israel pulled away, heart pounding like a war drum. But something had shifted inside him, a whisper uncoiling in his mind that wasn't his own. God, why does he smell like rain and regret? Israel Harper wiped the steam from the coffee shop window on the corner of Pike and First in downtown Seattle. The relentless drizzle outside blurring the neon glow of the market into a watercolor haze. At 28, he'd carved out a life here that felt steady, if not spectacular, a junior copywriter at Thorne Innovations, a mid-sized tech firm specializing in AI-driven urban planning software, tucked into a gleaming tower that pierced the perpetually gray sky. Seattle suited him, moody, layered, full of hidden corners where a guy like him, out but not loud about it, could blend into the fog without drawing stares. His apartment in Capitol Hill was a cozy third-floor walk-up with creaky hardwood floors and a balcony overlooking a pocket park where dog walkers and joggers dodge puddles like pros. Morning started with black coffee from the corner roastery, evenings with indie films on his laptop and the occasional swipe on Grindr that led nowhere profound. But that morning, everything fractured. Israel had been nursing a hangover from a rare night out at the Baltic Room. Too many IPAs chasing the echo of a bad breakup with his ex, Theo, who'd ghosted him after 6 months of half-hearted promises. Theo had been the safe choice, a barista with tattoos snaking up his arms and a laugh that filled rooms. But their spark had fizzled into routine arguments about whose turn it was to load the dishwasher. Israel blamed himself. Always did, too introspective, too quick to overthink a text that came 2 hours late. So he dragged himself to work early, clutching his to-go cup like a lifeline, only to board the elevator alone until Elias Thorne strode in like he owned the vertical miles between floors. Which, technically, he did. Elias was the kind of man who made boardrooms hush and baristas fumble orders. 35, with olive skin that spoke of Mediterranean roots his bio never detailed, jet black hair cropped close on the sides and longer on top, and eyes like polished obsidian, sharp, unyielding, the sort that stripped you bare without a word. He wore tailored suits like armor. Today's a charcoal gray that hugged his broad shoulders and tapered to his waist, a silver watch glinting at his cuff. Thorne Innovations wasn't just his company, it was his empire. Born from a garage startup in his undergrad days at UW, now valued at $500 million, with clients from city planners in Portland to architects in Dubai. Whispers in the break room painted him as a genius recluse, brilliant, brutal, and breathtakingly single, though no one dared speculate why. The kiss, if you could call it that, happened in a blackout blur. The surge hit like a thunderclap, the car jolting as if the Space Needle itself had toppled onto the cables. Israel's body pitched forward, coffee flying, and his mouth found Elias's in the chaos, soft, unintended, a brush of lips that lingered a beat too long amid the panic. When power restored, the air between them crackled thicker than the storm outside. Elias straightened first, dabbing at his shoes with a monogrammed handkerchief, his face a mask of controlled disdain. "Mr. Harper," he said, voice low and edged like gravel under tires. "I trust you'll handle the dry, cleaning invoice personally." Israel's cheeks burned hotter than the spilled brew. "Sir, I'm so sorry." It was the jolt. "I didn't mean," but the words caught in his throat as Elias's gaze lifted. And in that instant, a foreign thought slithered into Israel's mind. Clear as a voiceover in a noir film, his lips are softer than they should be. "Focus, Elias. He's just an employee. A clumsy one." Israel's eyes widened, breath hitching. "What the hell?" He blinked hard, shaking his head as if dislodging water from his ears. Hallucination from the hangover. Had to be. The doors parted on Israel's floor, and he bolted, pulse racing. The echo of that impossible whisper chasing him down the corridor lined with frosted glass offices and motivational posters about innovating tomorrow. He dumped the ruined cup in the kitchenette sink, splashing water on his face, staring at his reflection, tousled hair from the night's sweat, hazel eyes shadowed with exhaustion, a faint stubble he hadn't bothered to shave. "You're losing it, he told himself, gripping the counter until his knuckles paled. But as he settled at his desk, firing up his MacBook to tweak ad copy for their latest app rollout, the whispers started again. Not his thoughts, colleagues. Sarah from design, scrolling Twitter, ugh. Another meeting with Thorne? Kill me. Mike in sales, eyeing the vending machine. One Snickers won't hurt the six-pack. Israel froze, fingers hovering over the keyboard. This couldn't be real. He rubbed his temples, willing it away, but the floodgates had cracked. By lunch, he was ducking into the stairwell to escape the mental cacophony of the open-plan floor, the petty jealousies, the mundane cravings, the buried resentments bubbling under polite nods. And woven through it all, faint but insistent, a thread from upstairs, Elias, in his corner office with the floor-to-ceiling views of Elliott Bay, thinking of the spill, the surge, the kiss. Why does it linger? Get a grip. He's beneath you. Above you? No. Israel's stomach twisted, a mix of nausea and something dangerously like thrill. He skipped the cafeteria, opting for a soggy turkey sandwich from the deli across the street, huddling under the awning as rain pattered like impatient fingers. Seattle's drizzle was a constant companion, turning sidewalks into mirrors that reflected the city's restless soul, tech bros in hoodies hustling to meetings, baristas calling orders with practiced nonchalance, the distant ferry horn mourning across the sound. Israel had moved here 5 years ago, chasing the promise of reinvention after a stifling upbringing in Boise, Idaho, where his coming out at 18 had fractured his family like cheap china. His mom still sent passive-aggressive emails about church potlucks. His dad, a stoic mechanic, communicated in gruff silences. Seattle let him breathe. Let him be the quiet gay guy who wrote taglines for apps that optimize traffic flow, dreaming vaguely of penning a novel someday. But now, this curse, or gift, threatened to unravel it all. Back at his desk, he tested it deliberately, glanced at his coworker Lena, who was doodling hearts in her planner. Javier from accounting is so cute. Asked him out already. Israel jerked his head away, heat flooding his neck. Telepathy? After a kiss? It sounded like the plot of one of those pulpy webcomics he binged on rainy nights. Not his life. He Googled it furtively. Nothing but pseudoscience forums and rom-com tropes. By 3 p.m., the whispers grew deafening. He begged off early with a migraine excuse. Fleeing to his apartment, where the only mind he could hear was his own, screaming for answers. Curled on his thrift store couch with a blanket that smelled faintly of Theo's cologne, Israel replayed the elevator scene in slow-mo, the jolt, the crash. Elias's breath warm against his skin. That thought, his lips are softer, it had been Elias's, raw and unguarded. What if it was permanent? What if every brush with the CEO unleashed more? He groaned, burying his face in a pillow. The last thing he needed was to read the mind of the man who signed his paychecks. A man whose reputation for firing on whims preceded him like a storm front. Dusk fell early, painting the room in bruised purples. Israel ordered Thai takeout, pad CEW with extra lime, and scrolled Netflix for distractions, landing on an old episode of Queer as Folk. The kind of escapist drama that made his heart ache with borrowed intensity. But even there, the characters' inner monologues felt too close, too invasive. He paused it, phone buzzing with a text from his best friend. Riley, a graphic designer at a rival firm in Belltown, heard you looked like death at work. Spill? Riley was his anchor, 30, non-binary with a buzz-cut dyed electric blue, always armed with sarcasm and sage advice over bottomless mimosas at brunch. Just a rough day. Israel typed back, then deleted it. Weird elevator thing with Thorne. Think I'm cracking up. The reply came fast. The hot CEO? Details. Bitch. Call me. He did, voice cracking as he spilled the impossible truth, half expecting laughter. Riley listened. Then, okay, either you're manifesting superpowers from sexual tension, or you need therapy. But if it's real, use it. Read his mind. See if he's as icy as he seems. Israel laughed, bitter and hollow. That's the problem. I already did. And it's complicated. Night deepened, rain lashing the windows like accusations. Israel lay awake. The city's hum filtering through, sirens wailing, laughter spilling from a nearby bar, the low rumble of a light rail. His mind wandered to Elias. Unbidden, those obsidian eyes, the way his suit clung in the elevator's sway. What secrets hid behind that executive facade? Boardroom battles? A hidden lover? Or something more human? More breakable? The thought terrified him. Tomorrow, he'd avoid the elevators, take the stairs, bury himself in work. Distance was survival. But deep down, in the quiet chambers of his heart, a spark flickered, curious, reckless, alive. As sleep finally claimed him, one last whisper echoed, not from outside, but within. What if he feels it too? Israel arrived at Thorne Innovations the next morning armored in resolve, earbuds blasting an indie playlist, Pavement's jangly guitars to drown out the mental noise, and a thermos of chamomile tea to soothe his frayed nerves. The lobby thrummed with the usual Monday rhythm, security guards nodding at keycard swipes. The hiss of the espresso machine in the Atrium Cafe. Harried interns juggling laptops and lattes. He bypassed the elevators entirely, opting for the fire stairs that smelled of industrial cleaner and faint mildew, his sneakers squeaking on the concrete treads. 27 flights left his thighs burning and his breath short. But the isolation was worth it. No stray thoughts assaulting him. No risk of crossing paths with Elias Thorne before he could fortify his walls. His cubicle waited like a sanctuary, dual monitors glowing with unfinished mock-ups. A succulent named Spike wilting slightly on the windowsill overlooking the Puget Sound's choppy expanse. Seattle's waters mirrored the city's temperament, calm one moment, roiling the next, ferries slicing through like determined blades. Israel dove into revisions for the Urban Harmony campaign, crafting slogans that promised seamless city life, navigate the chaos, embrace the flow. Irony bit deep. His own life felt like gridlock. By mid-morning, the office buzz filtered in despite his focus. Sarah's envy over a promotion, she doesn't deserve it. Mike's hangover regrets, never mixing whiskey and wine again. He clenched his jaw, training the ability like a muscle he wished he could atrophy. Lunch brought temptation. The cafeteria overlooked the sculpture garden, where abstract steel forms twisted in the mist, a nod to the firm's avant-garde ethos. Israel grabbed a quinoa bowl and claimed a corner table, but fate, or poor timing, intervened. Elias entered, tray in hand, scanning the room with that predatory efficiency. Their eyes met across the expanse. Israel's fork froze midway to his mouth. There he is. The klutz from yesterday. Does he remember the taste? Stop. The thought hit Israel like a rogue wave. Elias's voice in his head, laced with irritation and something softer. Unguarded. Israel dropped his gaze, heart hammering, shoving quinoa like it was his last meal. Elias didn't approach, settling with execs at the long communal table, but the proximity amplified the signal. Fragments leaked through. Quarterly projections are shit. Cut the fat or sink. Then, sharper. Harper's avoiding me. Good. Or is it? Israel bolted, dumping his half-eaten bowl and retreating to the rooftop terrace, where wind whipped off the bay, carrying the briny tang of salt and seaweed. He leaned on the railing, gulping air, the Space Needle's arm piercing the low clouds like a defiant needle. How long could he evade this? The company had 300 employees. Encounters were inevitable. The afternoon dragged in a haze of emails and edits. But by 4 p.m., a all-hands memo pinged. Emergency strategy session in the boardroom. Elias leading. Israel's stomach sank. He considered feigning illness. But Riley's voice echoed from last night's call. Face it. Knowledge is power. So he filed in with the team, claiming a seat at the room's periphery, notebook shielding his face. The boardroom was a glass-walled eyrie, Puget Sound sprawling below like a silver vein. Elias stood at the head, projector humming to life with charts in stark reds and blues. Ladies and gentlemen, Elias began, voice resonant, commanding without volume. Our AI models underperforming in predictive accuracy, traffic simulations off by 12% in beta tests. We adapt or we atrophy. His gaze swept the room, pausing infinitesimally on Israel. Why does he look so damn earnest? Focus. Israel's pen scratched nonsense, cheeks flushing as the meeting unfolded, tense debates, pointed fingers at R&D. Beneath the corporate veneer, Elias's mind roiled, strategic calculus laced with personal barbs. Jenkins is coasting again. Fire him after this. But then, quieter, aimed inward, that kiss was a fluke. But his eyes, they saw something. The session ended with action items. Israel volunteering for none, slipping out amid the shuffle. In the hallway, panic clawed, Elias's thoughts lingered. A tether he couldn't snap. He texted Riley, "It's worse." Heard him thinking about the kiss. "What do I do? Reply, confront, or flirt? Your call. Superhero." Israel snorted, pocketing his phone as he hit the stairs again, legs protesting the descent. Evening found him at a dive bar in Fremont, the kind with peeling vinyl stools and a jukebox stocked with Nirvana vinyls. Seattle's craft beer scene was legendary, but tonight he nursed a Rainier tall boy, the cheap lager's bitterness matching his mood. The bar hummed with locals, tattooed artists debating gallery shows, techies unwinding with darts. A guy at the end of the bar, lean, with a beard and kind eyes, shot him a smile. But Israel waved it off. The weight of stolen intimacies too heavy for casual hookups. Riley arrived fashionably late, sliding onto the stool beside him with a gin and tonic, their blue buzz cut catching the neon flicker. Spill the tea. Telepath. What's Mr.? Dreamy thinking now. Israel recounted the meeting, the intrusive echoes, his voice dropping as patrons laughed around them. Riley leaned in, eyes sparkling with mischief. Sounds like he's hooked. Is that earnest bit? Classic repression. Bet he's straight-laced on paper, but a mess inside. Israel shook his head, tracing condensation on his glass. Doesn't matter. He's my boss. And this? Power? It's a violation. I feel like a thief. They talked until last call. Riley's hand warm on his arm as they parted. Call if it spikes. Love you. Leaving Israel to wander home through streets slick with rain. Reflections of street lamps dancing like fireflies. His apartment greeted him with quiet accusation. Unwashed dishes from last night. A photo of him and Theo at Gasworks Park, grinning amid wildflowers. He deleted Grindr notifications. Showered hot and long. Steam fogging the mirror where his reflection stared back. Haunted. Sleep evaded him again. Mind replaying Elias's voice. His eyes saw something. What? The loneliness Israel carried like a second skin. The ache for connection that Theo had only deepened by dawn. Resolve hardened. He'd request a transfer to the remote team. Work from home. Sever the link. But as he dressed for another stair climb day, a knock echoed at his door. He froze, pulse spiking. Through the peephole, a courier, envelope in hand. Mr. Harper, delivery from Thorn Innovations. Inside, a crisp note on company letterhead. Mr. Harper, regarding yesterday's incident. Dry cleaning enclosed. Let's discuss over coffee. My office. 10 a.m. E. Thorn. No thoughts accompanied it, but the implication hummed. Pursuit. Israel's hands trembled as he tucked the check away. $2.50. More than generous. Coffee? With a man whose mind he could plunder? It was a trap. A test. A spark to dry tinder. He arrived early. Thermos abandoned for the atrium's brew. Positioning himself in a lobby armchair with a strategic view. Elias emerged from the executive lift at 9:55. Impeccable in a heather gray suit. Stride purposeful. Their eyes locked. Israel braced. He's here. Good. Time to set boundaries. But underneath, does he feel the pull too? Or am I imagining? The elevator dinged, and Elias approached, extending a hand. Israel. Thank you for coming. The handshake was firm. Electric skin on skin. Thoughts flooding, warm. Steady. Don't let go yet. Israel yanked back, disguising it as a cough. Mind reeling. Sir. About the note. Elias. Please. And walk with me. They fell in a step toward the cafe. Seattle's skyline framing them through vast windows. Conversation flowed haltingly, work chit-chat. The surge blamed on outdated wiring, but beneath, Elias's mind unraveled, pride in the company warring with isolation. A recent boardroom coup attempt he'd quashed alone. No one to trust. Not even family. Israel's chest tightened. He glimpsed fractures in the armor. A man adrift in his own success. Over black coffee, Elias's with a dash of oat milk. Israel straight, they skirted the incident. It was an accident, Elias said. Eyes on his cup. Liar. It felt right. Israel choked on his sip, setting it down hard. Yeah. Totally. Silence stretched. Charged. Then, softer, you're good at what you do. Israel. Your last pitch on the app, inspired. Stay on my floor. We need that energy. It was praise, laced with plea. Don't run. Not yet. Israel nodded, throat dry, excusing himself with a mumbled thanks. In the stairwell, he sagged against the wall, breaths ragged. Distance? Impossible now. The pull was mutual, invisible threads tightening. As rain lashed the building anew, Israel wondered, was the kiss the accident, or the awakening? Back at his desk, the whispers of the office faded to white noise against the roar of one voice, Elias's, echoing in his soul, closer. God help me. Closer. The following weeks blurred into a tense tango. Israel and Elias orbiting each other in the glass labyrinth of thorn innovations like planets caught in unstable gravity. Israel stuck to the stairs, but Elias seemed to multiply, his presence in impromptu hallway huddles. His memos pinging Israel's inbox with feedback that read like invitations. Each encounter amplified the telepathic hum. Elias's mind a vault of vaulted ambitions and veiled vulnerabilities, cracking open just for him. Harper's pitch again, brilliant. Why does it unsettle me? Israel filed it away, burying himself in deadlines. But the knowledge burrowed deeper, stirring empathy he couldn't afford. Seattle's autumn deepened, leaves turning the parks into bonfires of red and gold. Though the rain persisted, turning commutes into soggy rituals. Israel leaned into routines for ballast, weekend hikes in Discovery Park, where salt air cleared his head amid towering evergreens, brunches with Riley at Le Panier, flaky croissants crumbling as they dissected his CEO crush. It's not a crush, he'd protest, cheeks warming. It's invasive. Riley would smirk, stirring sugar into their cafe, ole. Invasive like a kiss? Honey, that's chemistry with a side of ESP. One crisp Tuesday, the orbit tightened. Elias cornered him post-presentation, Israel's slide deck on rebranding the AI as Echo City, earning nods from the exec team. Excellent work, Elias said in the emptying conference room, door clicking shut behind the last lever. Proximity sparked the flood, proud of him. Too proud? Touch his shoulder, no. Boundaries. Israel stepped back, bumping de credenza, files scattering like startled birds. Thanks, sir. Just doing my job. Elias. A beat. Then, join me for the client dinner tonight. Portland firm, big potential. Your insights would shine. Need you there. Distraction from the board's snakes. Israel's refusal died on his tongue. The plea in Elias's tone, spoken and unspoken, tugged like tide. Okay, but I'm not much for schmoozing. The dinner was at the Georgian Room in the Fairmont Olympic, a bastion of old Seattle glamour, crystal chandeliers dripping light, white linens crisp as fresh snow. Israel arrived in his best, charcoal slacks, a forest green blazer Riley had insisted on, feeling underdressed beside Elias's bespoke navy suit, silk tie the color of midnight. The clients, a trio of sharp-suited architect from Oregon, dominated talk of sustainable zoning, but Elias steered seamlessly, his laugh rare and resonant when Israel quipped about AI reading city vibes like a therapist. Under the table, knees brushed, accidental, electric. Thoughts surged, his leg against mine. Steady. Warm. Israel froze, fork hovering over seared scallops, pulse syncing with the jazz trio's bass. Elias's mind wandered mid-conversation, flashes of a sterile childhood home in Tacoma, a father's belt cracking disapproval, a mother's silence thicker than fog. Never enough. Still not. Empathy swelled in Israel. Unbidden, he glimpsed the boy beneath the titan, star for approval he'd never chased from family. Post-dinner, as the group dispersed to the lounge for digestives, Elias pulled him aside near the coat check, coats whispering against hangers. You were brilliant tonight. Save the pitch from jargon hell. Want to keep you close. All night. Israel's breath caught. The hotel's opulence closing in, marble floors echoing their solitude. It was team effort. You led it. Silence hummed. Charged. Then, impulsive, walk with me? The waterfront's not far. They emerged into the night. Pike Place's stalls shuttered. The Ferris wheel's lights wheeling lazy over the sound. Salt wind tugged at scarves. Elias's overcoat flapped like dark wings. Conversation meandered, Elias on the firm's scrappy origins, Israel sharing Boise tales, the sting of small-town closets. Laughter bridged gaps, tentative at first, then genuine. At a bench overlooking the inky water, they sat close, shoulders brushing, his voice like home. Elias turned, eyes catching moonlight. Israel. That day in the elevator. It wasn't just the surge, heart slamming. Israel met his gaze. Say it. Kiss him again. But allow, what do you mean? Elias leaned in, breath mingling. It felt inevitable. Lips met, not accident, but choice soft. Searching, tasting of bourbon and bravery. Israel's world narrowed to the press. The part, the quiet moan Elias stifled. Thoughts poured, finally. He's mine. But then, a shadow, can't let him in. The secrets. Israel pulled back, gasping. The kiss of Pandora's box. Elias. Wait, but Elias's phone buzzed, shattering the spell, a text from his assistant. Board emergency. Now. He stood, regret etching his face. Not now. Soon. Rain check. A nod. And he was gone, cab vanishing into traffic. Israel walked home alone, lips tingling, mind ablaze. The kiss confirmed it, mutual, magnetic. But the shadows in Elias's thoughts, secrets, bored intrigue, loomed like storm clouds. At his apartment, he paced, rain drumming approval. Riley's text lit his screen. How was dinner? Spill. Kissed him. Again. On purpose. Dots danced. Holy shit. Details tomorrow. But guard your heart. Sleep came fitful. Dreams weaving elevator cables with waterfront waves. Elias's eyes dark, devouring, chasing him through fog. Dawn brought clarity. Dive deeper. Or dive out. He chose the former. Emailing Elias, thank you, with attached concept sketches. Fingers flying. Reply swift, love it. Lunch? My office. The pull strengthened. Hearts aligning despite the distance he swore to keep. But as October waned, whispers from the office hinted at fissures, rumors of embezzlement in finance. Elias's late nights poring over ledgers. Israel overheard Mike in the kitchen, Thorne's paranoid. Something's rotting. And in Elias's mind, during a stolen coffee run, if it leaks, we're done. Protect him from me. Paranoia prickled Israel's skin. What secrets bound Elias so tight? A week later, crisis crested. Israel, working late on revisions, heard footsteps. Elias. Tie loosened. Shadows under his eyes. Can't sleep. Join me. Need your voice. They ended up on the rooftop. City lights sprawling like neural networks. Elias confessed fragments, pressure from investors, a rival firm's sabotage attempts. It's lonely at the top. Tell him about Victor. No, too soon. Victor? A name. A ghost. Ex-lover. Business foe. Israel's hand found Elias's. Tentative. You're not alone. The kiss that followed was hungrier. Hands roaming collars. Breaths ragged against the wind. But as Elias's mind opened, love this. Love him? A betrayal flickered. Use the proximity. Keep the secret safe. Use? Israel's blood chilled. He broke away, masking hurt with a yawn. Late. Night. In bed. Turmoil churned. Was Elias playing him? The mind-reading gift. Once curse. Now scalpel, cutting to truths too raw. Distance called. But hearts. Treacherous. Beat closer. Seattle's rain wept with him that night, washing nothing clean. Yet morning brought Elias's text. Last night meant everything. Dinner soon? Israel stared. Torn. Guard your heart, Riley warned. But his own whispered back, or open it wider. November's chill seeped into Seattle's bones, frosting the evergreens and turning breaths to visible ghosts on the streets. Israel navigated his days with calculated caution. The kiss on the rooftop, a talisman he both cherished and cursed, its memory igniting late-night replays. Elias's hands firm on his waist, his whisper hot against Israel's ear. Stay. But the undercurrent of that thought, use the proximity, gnawed like termites in drywall, eroding trust. Who was Victor? And why did Elias's mind recoil from the name like a live wire? Work became Israel's fortress. He poured genius into the Echo City rollout. Mock-ups evolving into immersive VR demos that wowed test groups. Earning him a quiet nod from Elias in meetings, Harper's leading this charge. Brilliant. Mine. The praise thrilled, but Israel armored against it. Lunching alone in the atrium with podcasts on urban legends, tales of haunted fairies and lost gold in the sound, to drown stray thoughts. Riley noticed the shift over pumpkin spice lattes of Vivace. Your glowing and ghosting is spill the CEO dirt. He deflected with half-truths, the use lingering unspoken, a bruise on his soul. Elias, undeterred, escalated the dance. Invites multiplied, a tech mixer at the Museum of Pop Culture. Where Sub Pop vinyl spun under MOPOP's glowing orbs, a hike in Green Lake Park. Though rain forced it to a cozy diner detour with greasy hash browns and stolen glances. Each outing peeled layers, Elias revealing a passion for indie comics from his UW days. Sketching dystopian cities on napkins, Israel sharing poetry scraps from his Boise journals. Verses of longing disguised as landscapes. Kisses followed, fervent in shadowed alleys or car consoles. Elias's stubble rasping like sandpaper on silk. More. Deeper. But always. The shadows. Victor would warn against this. Keep it contained. Curiosity festered. Late one night, post a film noir double feature at the Varsity, Elias's pick, The Maltese Falcon. All brooding betrayal. Israel mustered courage in the glow of his laptop. Victor Hale. A quick search revealed. Ex-CFO of Thorn Innovations. Ousted 2 years prior amid whispers of creative accounting. Articles painted him as a shark, sharp suits. Sharper deals, but a buried profile in Seattle Business Journal hinted at more. Hale and Thorn. Partners in boardroom and bedroom? Israel's gut twisted. Ex-lover confirmed. Victor's mind? No access. But Elias's echoed in memory. He took everything. Won't let him take this. Betrayal's specter loomed larger when the boardroom bomb dropped. Mid-month strategy call. Elias's face ashen on the screen. Israel patched in remotely. Testing distance. Financial audit flagged irregularities. We're cooperating fully. Victor's ghost. Sabotaging from afar. The room erupted. Layoffs threatened. Stock dipping. Israel. Heart pounding. Texted, "You okay?" Reply, "Need you." Now. He drove through sleet to Elias's waterfront condo in Belltown, a sleek area of steel and glass. Views of the Olympics like a promise. Elias answered disheveled, shirt untucked, hair awry, pulling Israel into an embrace that crushed breath from lungs. It's unraveling. They collapsed on the leather sectional. City lights painting their skin in blues and golds. Elias poured scotch. Neat. Hands shaking as he confessed. Victor's embezzlement. Hidden to protect the firm. Now unearthed by auditors. I covered for him once. Loved him. Fool that I was. He twisted it into leverage. Hate him still. But you're light. Israel's throat tightened. The use clarified. Not manipulation, but protection. Shielding their fragile thing from fallout. Empathy overrode wariness. Israel cupped Elias's face. Thumbs tracing jaw's sharp line. You don't have to carry it alone. The kiss ignited slow. Then wildfire, clothes shedding like inhibitions. Bodies mapping uncharted territories on silk sheets. Elias's touch reverent. Fingers tracing Israel's freckles. Lips worshipping collarbones. Perfect. Real. Israel's mind flooded with Elias's raw core. Loneliness forged in Tacoma's steel mills, where his immigrant parents toiled endless shifts. Affection rationed like fuel. Orgasms crested like waves, leaving him tangled. Sweat slick. Breath sinking. Dawn crept in. Coffee brewing as they lingered in bed. Elias's head on Israel's chest. Stay distant if it scares you, he murmured. Please don't. Israel stroked his hair, the gift silent in intimacy's afterglow. I'm here, but as Elias dozed, a call-shattered peace, his lawyer, Victor, surfacing with threats, exposed the cover-up, drag Elias's name through tabloids. He's back. For blood. Crisis peaked that week. Victor Hale arrived in Seattle unannounced, booking a reconciliation lunch at Canlis. The clifftop icon with its cantilevered views and mid-century elegance. Elias invited Israel as buffer, moral support, though dread laced his voice. Face the demon. With him. The restaurant hummed, flames leaping in the hearth, waiters gliding like shadows. Victor was venom incarnate, 40, silver fox handsome with a predator smile, bespoke suit screaming old money. Elias, darling. And who's this? Arm candy. Israel stiffened. Thoughts probing. Victor's mind a cesspool of resentment. Thorn stole my spotlight. Now his boy. Leverage. Elias's grip tightened under the table. Banter devolved. Victor dangling evidence of the cover-up. Demanding equity stake for silence. We were partners. Remember? In every way. Elias's face hardened. That ended in betrayal. Protect Israel. At all costs. The breaking point, Victor's sly glance at Israel. Careful. Kid. He chews him up. Fresh meat. Rage flared. Israel stood. Voice steel. We're done. Outside. Sleet stinging. Elias deflated against the car. He's poison. Lost everything to him. Not you. Israel drove them home. Silence heavy. Then fight him. Together. But doubt crept. That night. Alone. Israel unearthed emails. Hacked via a work backdoor. Ethics be damned. Victor's correspondence with bored moles. Plotting Elias's ouster. One line chilled. Thorne's got a new distraction. Use it. The use from the rooftop echoed. Was Elias leveraging him as shield? Paranoia spiraled. He ghosted Elias's texts. Burrowing into work. Heart fracturing. Riley confronted him at a Capitol Hill dive. Over vegan tacos, you're self-sabotaging. Is talk. Tears pricked as he confessed the Victor tangle. The doubt. What if I'm just convenient? Riley hugged fierce. Or what if you're his salvation? Test it. Read him clean. Confrontation brewed. A stormy Friday. Elias cornered him in the parking garage. Rain sheeting windshields. What's wrong? You've gone cold. Scare me off? Israel unleashed. Victor. The use. Am I your buffer? Hurt flashed in Elias's eyes. No, God. No. Never. You're my heart. Proof poured. Deleted drafts of resignation letters. Shielding Israel from fallout. I'd burn it all before hurting you. Relief crashed. They kissed against the hood. Rain mingling tears. But Victor's shadow lingered. Crisis unresolved. As December loomed, snow dusting the sound, Israel vowed, fight for this. Hearts closer, despite the storm. Yet in quiet moments, fear whispered, what if the betrayal's deeper? December draped Seattle in rare white. Snowflakes swirling like confetti over the holidays, blanketing the city's edges in hush. Thorne innovations teetered on a knife's edge, audits dragging. Morale fracturing like thin ice. Yet Israel's world narrowed to Elias. Stolen mornings in the condo. Bodies entwined under down comforters. Evenings wandering Pike Place. gloves brushing as they sampled smoked salmon and mulled wine from holiday stalls. The mind-reading gift dulled in bliss. Elias's thoughts a litany of adoration. Home. Finally. Victor's threats simmered background noise. Lawsuits filed, but love's gravity pulled stronger. Israel's heart, once walled, cracked wide. He introduced Elias to Riley over dim sum in the ID, steam rising like secrets as chopsticks clacked. Riley grilled, "So, Mr. CEO, what's the end game?" Elias, "Earnest over pork buns, no games. Just us, truth. For once." Riley texted later, "He's smitten. Don't fuck it up." Israel didn't plan to until Christmas Eve, when the blade fell. Elias had planned perfection, a tree in the condo lobby strung with white lights. Dinner at his place, roast duck with cherry gastrique. His mother's recipe unearthed from memory. Israel arrived gift in hand, a leather-bound journal for Elias's sketches, Heartlight. But Elias's face, opening the door, ashen, phone clutched white-knuckled. "Victor. He's going public. Tomorrow's stranger," front page. The article dropped pre-dawn. Pixels searing Israel screen. Thorn empire crumbles. Embezzlement. Cover up. And a tycoon's toxic past. Victor's byline. Laced with venom, details of the affair. The financial fudges. Insinuations of questionable relationships with employees. Israel scrolled. Gut roiling. A blurred photo of them at the waterfront. Lips inches apart. Leverage. Elias paced. Scotch in fist. I shielded him. For the company. For us. Ruin me. Us. Crisis erupted. By 8 a.m., the office was pandemonium, reporters at the lobby, staff whispering exits. Elias called an all hands. Voice steady on the feed. We're transparent. Fighting this, but his mind lost it all. Lose him too? Israel. In his cubicle. Fielded HR's discretionary leave, email, code for distance from the boss. Panic clawed, he drove to the condo, finding Elias amid legal pads. Eyes hollow. It's over, Elias said. Defeat etching lines. Push him away. Save him. No. Israel knelt. Hands on knees. Fight. But doubt festered. Victor's words echoed. Choose him up. Late that night, snow muffling the world, Israel probed deeper during a desperate embrace. Elias's mind fracturing, guilt over past lies to Victor, fear of repeating with Israel. Can't taint him. Then, a buried shard, use the story. Spin it. Keep the firm. Use the word again. Now clear, PR deflection. Positioning their relationship as strength in vulnerability. Israel's world tilted. He shoved away. Dressing in the dark. You're still playing angles. Elias bolted up. What? No. Read me? Impossible. Horror dawned. Israel fled into the blizzard. Streets empty. Snow swallowing sobs. At home, he curled fetal. Riley's voicemail a lifeline. Come over. Now. Capitol Hill's holiday lights mocked through windows as he confessed. Voice breaking. He'd use us. For the brand. Riley held him. Or for survival. But trusts earned. Not assumed. Days blurred in isolation. Israel remote working from his apartment. Ignoring Elias's voicemails. Talk. Please. The gift tormented. No proximity. No thoughts. Just echoes of betrayal. Victor won rounds. Stock plummeted. 2 execs resigned, but Elias countered with a presser. Voice raw. Mistakes made. Lessons learned. Forward, for you, is always. New Year's Eve loomed. Seattle's fireworks a distant promise. Riley dragged Israel to a queer-friendly bash at Numos. Bass thumping like heartbeats. Bodies swaying under strobes. Sweaty dances dulled pain. Acute strangers flirt, bartender with dimples, tempting escape. But midnight struck, confetti raining, and Israel's phone buzzed. Elias. Outside. Saw you enter. Need to see you. Heartwarming. He stepped into chill air. Snow dusting Elias's coat. 1 minute. Alley shadows cloaked them. Breaths clouding. I never meant to use you, Elias pleaded. Eyes desperate. Love you. Say it. The spin, it was desperation. Victor's destroying everything. But you're the only real. Israel searched his face. Probing silent, distance blocked the gift. Forcing faith. Prove it. Walk away from the fight. For us, Elias recoiled. The firm, hundreds of jobs. Can't. Won't. Then we're done. Israel turned. Tears freezing on lashes. The door slammed behind him. Party roar swallowing sobs. Inside, he kissed the bartender, desperate. Hollow, tasting regret. January's gray returned. Audits closing. Victor indicted on fraud. Thorne stabilized. But Israel tendered resignation. Citing personal reasons. Elias's counteroffer, partnership, equity. Stay. Marry me? Too soon. Israel burned it. Heart-shattering. Distance enforced. He job hunted, landing at a nonprofit in Ballard. Writing grants for urban green spaces. Life recalibrated. Mornings journaling by the canal. Evenings with Riley plotting road trips to Olympic Peninsula. But grief haunted Elias's face in news clips. Thinner. Triumphant yet alone. Israel's gift. Dormant. Ached for signal. Spring teased buds along the waterfront. Renewal mocking his stagnation. One rainy April afternoon. Walking Fremont's Troll Bridge. Phone rang, unknown. Israel? It's Victor. Chills raced. What? Victor's laugh. Oily. Truce. Thorne's won. But you impressive. He mentioned you once. The one who saw through. Liar? Truth? Click. Israel's world spun. Doubt reignited. Was the use a lie too? Confrontation called. He drove to the condo. Buzzer trembling. Elias answered. Haggard, him? God. Israel. No more words. They crashed together. Kisses bruising. Truths spilling. Victor called. Said you talked about me. Elias pulled back. Eyes wide. Never. He's twisting. Loves me still? The gift flickered alive. Faint in proximity. Purity. No schemes. I walked away to protect you, Elias whispered. From a mess. From me. Israel broke. I thought betrayal. But it was fear. Forgiveness flowed. Bodies reuniting in fevered grace. Slow now. Healing. Mine. Forever. Yet crisis lingered. Victor's shadow. The public's eye. As summer bloomed, they emerged cautious. Quiet dates at Alki Beach. Sunsets painting waves gold. Hearts mended, closer in scars. But whispers warned, full trust, or fracture waiting. Summer sun gilded Seattle's edges. Rare blue skies arching over markets teeming with berry stains and busker guitars. Israel and Elias rebuilt on fracture ground. Their rhythm tentative, mornings tangled in Elias's bed. Israel's grant writing clacking from the sunlit desk. Evenings grilling salmon on the balcony's Weber. Salish sea breezes carrying laughter. The gift, once intruder, became bridge, Israel's glimpses into Elias's healing, waking to him, miracle, easing doubts. Victor's indictment stuck, a federal cage in Tacoma. But his venom lingered in tabloid echoes, forcing discretion. No photos, Elias murmured over wine. Protect our quiet. Israel thrived at green urban futures. His words funding community gardens in the Central District, soil turning under immigrant hands. It grounded him. This tangible good, contrasting Thorne's abstractions. Riley teased at Pride barbecues in California Anderson Park, from copy chaser to changemaker. And bagging the boss, iconic. Elias integrated slowly. First a donor, check. Then volunteering at a tree planting event. Sleeves rolled. Dirt smudging his forearms. Fulfilling. With him. But cracks spiderwebbed. July's heat wave baked the city. Tempers flaring. A board retreat in the Cascades tested Elias. Pitching recovery. Faced mutiny, old guard decrying distractions. Whispers reached Israel via office grapevine. Thorne's boy toy tanking focus. Elias's mind. Probed at dinner post-retreat. They're right. No fuel. But deeper, Victor's echo. Unworthy. Israel soothed with touches. Words, you're enough. Yet insecurity festered. Elias withdrawing into work marathons. Text Kurt, late meeting. August brought the blow. Anonymous leak to the stranger. Leaked emails. Theirs intimate. From early days. Can't wait to wake up to your coffee and chaos. Love. E. Headline screamed. CEO's secret affair. Conflict or collusion. Protests erupted outside Thorne Tower. Activists decrying nepotism. Queer rights groups mixed. Some cheering visibility. Others scorning exploitation. Israel's face. Pixelated in a pilfered photo. Splashed across feeds. Hate mail flooded. Homewrecker. Gold digger. Elias fortified. PR blitz. Denial of impropriety. But privately. Rage. Victor's moles. Again. Israel. Besieged at the nonprofit. Donors pulling funds. Colleagues side-eyeing. Cracked. This is poison. Run? No, stay. They argued in the condo. Voices echoing off windows. You said protect us. I am fighting. Storm raged. Israel storming out to Riley's. Couch a refuge. It's too much. The scrutiny, it's eroding us. Riley. Over herbal tea. Love's not fair weather. But is it worth the wreckage? Israel journaled through nights. Verses bleeding pain. Kisses like keys. Unlocking cages, slash now chains. Rattling in the gale. The gift. In absence. Starved, craving Elias's unguarded core. Reconciliation brewed slow. Elias appeared at a non-profit gala, black tie amid fairy lights in the sculpture garden, donating publicly. Eyes seeking Israel's across the crowd. Apologize. Beg. Post-speech. In a shadowed alcove, I failed you. Hand clasped. Confessions flowed, Elias admitting burnout. The leak triggering old wounds, Victor's gaslighting, making him question worth. I pulled away to not pull you under. Israel. Tears salting lips. We're anchors, not weights. The kiss sealed it, tender. Reclaiming, thoughts pure, partners. Equals. Fall hinted with amber leaves. Renewal tentative. They therapy tagged. Sessions in a Belltown loft. Unpacking traumas. Israel's Boise exile. Elias's parental voids. Progress etched. Joint runs along the Burke-Gilman Trail. Breaths syncing with petals. Cooking classes in Pike Place. Flower-dusted laughs. But climax loomed. Victor's trial. Fall centerpiece. October courtrooms in downtown's Federal Building. Stark wood. Fluorescent hum. Israel testified. Character witness for Elias. Voice steady. He chose integrity. Victor's glare burned. Thief. But Elias's mind. Beside him, strong. Proud. Verdict, guilty. 10 years. Relief washed. But Victor's parting shot. To reporters, thorns clean? Ask his pretty writer. Doubt reignited. Late night hack, Israel. Sleepless. Digging, Victor's prison letters. Smuggled. Alleging deeper complicity, Elias's sign-off on falsified docs. Forgery or revenge? Confrontation exploded. Israel. Waving printouts in the condo. Did you know? Elias paled. No lie, I suspected. Buried it. Betrayal crested. Israel's scream. You used me to forget. Elias crumpled. Fear. Not malice. Losing him. End. Israel fled to Boise. Impulse flight. Mom's door knocking surprise. Israel. Embrace awkward. But healing talks over pie. Dad's gruff proud. Son. Distance clarified. Elias's flaw human. Not fatal. Return. Airport reunion. Elias waiting. Sign home. Tears. Truths. We heal together. Winter solstice. Under mistletoe in the market. Vows whispered. Forever. But scars lingered. Trust a garden. Tended. Blooming slow. Winter's grip loosened in a spring's tentative thaw. Seattle's cherry blossoms unfurling pink against gunmetal skies. A metaphor Israel clung to as he and Elias navigated the aftershocks of trial and truth. The leaked emails faded to footnotes. Thorn Innovations rebounding with a rebrand. Elias stepping back as executive chair. Israel consulting on narrative arcs. Their union no longer shadow, but subtle strength. Dates wove ordinary magic, picnics in Cary Park. Skyline framed by their shoulders, jazz nights at Tula's. Fingers laced under tables. The gift evolved, Israel wielding it sparingly. A compass, not a crutch. Elias's thoughts now invitations, grateful. Every dawn. Yet healing's path twisted. May's warmth unearthed ghosts. Victor's appeal. Dragging old wounds. Elias's nightmares resurfaced. Sweats at 3 a.m. Murmuring unworthy. Israel's arms insufficient anchors. Therapy deepened. Sessions peeling to cores. Elias confronting his father's mill death. The inheritance of stoic silence. Israel voicing Boise's lingering shame. The closet's claustrophobia. We're mosaics, Elias said one rain-lashed evening. Over takeout, faux steaming bowls. Broken. Beautiful. Israel nodded. Heart swelling. Proximity's gift confirming vulnerability's grace. Crisis crested unexpectedly, a health scare. June solstice sun beat hot as Elias collapsed mid-run. Trail blurring to hospital white. Diagnosis, stress-induced arrhythmia. Heart's erratic rhythm mirroring their early chaos. Israel at bedside. Monitors beeping like accusations. You pushed too hard. For us. For redemption. Elias gripped his hand. Fixable. With you. Recovery forged, intimacy raw. Elias sidelined. Israel caregiving. Soups simmered. Walks pace slow along Magnolia's bluffs. Waves crashing below like applause. Vulnerability stripped pride. Elias confessed buried fears. Victor's echo. I'm the villain in my story. Israel countered no. Survivor. My hero. Summer waned. Strength returning. But the scare refracted light on fractures. A work trip. Elias to Portland for investor meets. Tested trust. Alone. Israel battled phantoms. Grinder pings, tempting escape. Old doubts whispering convenient. The gift absent. Miles muting. Forced faith's muscle. Elias called nightly. Miss your voice. Miss your soul. Reunion at SEA Airport. Embrace fierce. Kisses tasting of airports and absolution. Autumn's palate deepened resolve. They adopted a rescue mutt, Winston. A scruffy terrier mix with Elias's wary eyes. Walks binding them in routine joy. Leashes tangling like fates. Holiday lights twinkled early. Markets alive with spice cider and choirs. Over Thanksgiving at Riley's, table groaning with tofurkey and tails, Elias proposed. Quiet amid pumpkin pie. Rings simple. Platinum with hazel inlay matching Israel's eyes. Marry the mess? Yes. Always. Tears. Yes, whispered. World shaking. Winter wedding planning wove dreams. Small. Atop Hurricane Ridge. Snow-capped peaks witnesses. Vows exchanged under evergreens. Riley officiating with rye blessings. Don't fuck it up. Rings slid. Ceiling line. Healed. But climax whispered in periphery. Victor's appeal denied. Finality's gift. Last letter smuggled. You won. Be happy. Elias burned it. Ashes to wind. Done. Spring bloomed full. Their union a testament. Non-profit gala where Israel keynote. Elias an audience beaming. Proud. Honeymoon in the San Juans. Kayaks slicing fjords. Nights in lighthouse inns. Stars pricking velvet skies. Back home. Life layered. Israel's novel drafted. Pages pulsing with their story. Telepathic kisses. Betrayals bridged. Elias mentoring startups. Legacy shifting from empire to empathy. Years folded like origami. Adoptions considered. Travels to Tuscany's hills echoing Elias's roots. Boise reunions mending family rifts. The gift faded. Kisses magic outshining minds whispers. Heart's proximity truer than thoughts. In quiet eaves. Balcony gazes over the sound. Israel reflects. Accidents spark ignited not powers. But presence. Love's slow burn. Enduring storms. Elias's hand in his. Closer. Always. Seattle's rain falls soft. Washing clean. A city of second chances mirroring their own. Humanity's grace. In fractures. We find wholeness, not despite scars, but through them. Love. The ultimate read. Unspoken. Unbreakable.